Please mute your phone now.
Please silence your cell phone.
Please silence your cell phone while you watch this video.
This is a continuation of last week. We didn't get to film very much because we are busy people. So we are still reacting to Drybar comedy, and we are randomly picking the 6th video. Is it random if you pick a number?
Yes, because I picked 6 randomly.
Okay.
With no reason for it other than it just popped into my head.
Okay. I think we acknowledged last time that short clips are very hard to critique well because you have to have a relationship with the audience.
Right.
And you can't get a relationship with one of the comics in 2, 3, 5 minutes. High School Musical in Real Life by Caleb Elliott.
Okay.
You're going to have to back up a little bit because when you want to see, you get right here and then your face is going to be covered. Yeah. So I'm going to have to put it over here.
I like to start off the shows by, just letting some people know I'm not the dude from High School Musical.
Do you know who that dude is?
Some of you guys are like, is he gonna dance? I hope he dances. That'd be great.
He does look a lot like him.
Yeah, one time I was doing a show and there was a guy there with his daughters, and his daughters thought I was the guy from High School Musical, and so they came up to me after. They're like, hey man, the dude was like, hey, could you please just act like you're that dude from my daughters? And I was like, no, I'm not gonna act like another black person. To entertain your white kids, sir, I'm not gonna do that. And he was like, I'll give you $100. And I was like, you're watching Disney Channel. It was cool. I'm from North Carolina originally. I love it there. Yeah, I know it's hard to tell because I speaks good, you know what I'm saying? Growing up, though, I used to think I was white. I know that sounds really weird, but my mom, she's very fair-skinned, like she almost looks white. And so in kindergarten, I told all the other kids that I was white. And those white kids let me know real quick. They were so mad. They were like, you're not white, Caleb. Teacher, Caleb said he's white. And the teacher was like, you're not white, Caleb. I was like, oh my God. When I got home, my parents sat me down like I was adopted, you know what I'm saying? They're like, Caleb, we're gonna tell you when you got older, but the word got out, you're black, Caleb, you're black.
He does look like that guy. Mm-hmm. And so people who know High School Musical are like, well, he really looks like that guy. And then to just acknowledge it, to say, well, I'm not the guy from High School Musical is funny because everyone was thinking.
Everybody's like, wow.
A fundamentally important thing in comedy, to know what the audience is thinking. Put an idea in the audience's head. And if you don't know what the audience is thinking, you can't tell a joke about it.
Well, could you make it up? I mean, Jim Gaffigan does the audience voice.
Right, but his voice is actually what the audience is thinking. He's not the majority of the audience, but people who don't appreciate comedy, people who don't like that he's making fun of something, that is what they think. He articulates what is in their head for the rest of the audience. Is this all he's going to do is talk about cake? So he's acknowledging that he's done a lot of jokes about cake, and when you articulate what the audience is thinking, it's funny. When you're introducing yourself to an audience, is you have to do material right up front that tells them who you are. And then for the rest of your act, you work within that structure that you've set up. I'm monotone, or I'm hyper energy, or I am
High School Musical guy.
I'm the High School Musical guy, or I'm from the Midwest, or I'm from the big city. I mean,
yeah, he did say Minnesota.
There's so many different things that you have to kind of establish. You don't necessarily have to say, I'm from here, I think this. The audience will key in the first couple to 3 minutes of who you are.
You have to make yourself a caricature.
Right.
That's all you get, Caleb.
Do the 12th one.
Okay. We can't do that one.
And we can't because we already watched Mike Goodman. Let's do 19.
For a minute I thought you were going to say 90. And I was about to punch you.
Let's do 905.
Right.
18, 19.
No! We already did this one too.
It was one
I'm picking a number. 27.
Nothing is faster than a three-legged pug by Myles Weber. Okay.
Here we go.
Because I got a dog. You got any dog people here? Yeah, there we go. Right on. My kind of folks, man.
I got a dog. Any dog people here? That's a thing that you do to establish a rapport with the audience. I think it's overused. I think that polling the audience is a waste of time because it doesn't add anything to the joke. So
you wouldn't even add it as a segue?
No, I wouldn't. It's not a big deal. Comics do it all the time. Anybody here from California? Anybody here from private school? You know, anybody go to private school? Anybody homeschooled? You know, you poll the audience to...
Anybody love polls?
Anybody like to be polled? Anybody like to raise their hands in an audience? Let's see some hands. It's a thing that you do to try to seem like what you're going to do is relatable. Oh, you're a dog person? I'm a dog person. So we're going to talk about dog people, and so it's going to be relevant to all of us because we're all dog people. Yeah, it's a waste of time.
But it would be super funny to do it with something that isn't normal.
My father got shot out of a cannon. Anybody else's parents?
There you go,
Circus
that's better.
performers? That could be a thing that's running through your act. Is every time you go into some weird segue, you poll the audience to find out if there's anybody else, you know, who regularly bathes in tapioca. Anybody else sit in bathtubs full of tapioca every Thursday night and read War and Peace? Just me?
Anybody? Oh, okay. Do something really obvious. Like, I'm a stand-up comedian. Anybody else?
Anybody else stand-up comedians? Any other stand-up comedians?
Yeah, man, I love my dog. We had a very eccentric dog, my wife and I. We have a three-legged pug named Taz. That's a letter for each limb still attached to his body. We're praying we never have to call him Mr. T. And people always do what you guys did when they hear we got a three-legged dog. They're like, oh, that's so sweet. You guys got a rescue. And I gotta be like, nah, we did it. I'm still paying for that surgery. And it's a boring story, man. He had a birth defect. His elbow grew in backwards, so he broke his leg. We had to snip it. But we didn't know he broke his leg for like 3 months, because he didn't say nothing. We just thought he had a little swagger to him. We didn't know him. He's cool. He's hip. Let him be all right. But that's a boring story. I don't like it. It's not chivalrous. There's nothing exciting about that. So what I like to do is I like to mess with people. When folks ask me what happened to his leg, I give them a different answer every single time. Kids are the best. Oh my goodness, I love it when kids come up. This little boy...
I think he's doing a great job. He's got great facial expressions. He's funny.
We've talked before that comedy needs to be rooted in truth. Is this an okay way to add exaggeration to stuff?
Yes, and
without it being truthful?
He said it's a boring story, but it wasn't a boring story. The way he told it, it was funny. It bothers me when comedians say, I like to mess with people. Again, it's another bit of superfluous, unnecessary information. We know you're messing with people. We know that it's not true. And it's perfectly fine to say, I think that's a boring story, so I would prefer that this is what happened. And then tell the story. But you don't have to say, this is what I tell people to mess with them.
A little boy come up to me one time, I had my dog at the park. He's like, hey mister, what happened to your dog's leg? And I just went, we lost it. And I kept walking. We were playing fetch and I threw it too hard. What do you want from me, kid?
It'd also be kind of funny to go, what? My dog's leg?
I had one guy come up to me and he's like, hey, what happened to your dog's leg? And I was like, the war? Vietnam vet! In the sense that he went to a Vietnamese veterinarian. What's been weird though recently is people have been trying to guess what happened to his leg. That's been unusual. I'm not ready for that. I was walking him a couple weeks ago, a guy rode by on his bicycle. He's like, hey, did your dog get hit by a car? What car is gonna hit a pug and he only loses the front right leg? If I hit a pug with my car and that's the end result, I'm returning that car. It is not safe for me to drive. I need something with better safety features. Like, I don't know, man, a Hot Wheels or a Tonka truck or something. I can't have pugs shaking me off like, watch where you going.
The other thing that we've established here is that the dog has lost a leg, and so now there's a lot of latitude for different explanations for how that dog could lose a leg. That's smart.
I think it's good.
Yeah, it's smart. So you've established a premise, and once you have the premise of my dog is missing a leg, Now we're going to talk about all the possible ways that could have occurred. That's what comedy is. So well done, Myles.
Well done.
Well done.
This is way more fun when I haven't already seen them. Okay. I guess to be continued. Little Butter.
Well done.
He just keeps scraping along.
Scraping along. I'm holding a microphone right now. Anybody else got a microphone? Well, who else has a microphone? Let me see.
And then somebody does.
The
You're like,
person with a
"Yeah."
bullhorn. I've got a bullhorn. Is that close enough? Himself. That was Tabby's phone.
I meant to leave it in the other room. All I did was accidentally check it behind the camera, so now I'm just gonna...
Now we're gonna hear it from the
I
other
was just
direction.
gonna dig over there.
Surely they know that this is a joke. Surely they know that I haven't bathing in tapioca pudding every Thursday night.